Welcome into Titan Game Day afternoon, live from Titletown, Green Bay, Wisconsin, is the site of this evening's action between the Titans and the Packers. I'm less than a half mile away from Lambeau Stadium right now, and I'm getting ready to head over there here in just a second. But, we got to get a little pregame coverage in before we do this game. Going to go through the three keys for success. Of course, as always, you'll hear from Elijah Molden. You'll also hear from Greg Cosell of NFL Films on this particular matchup. Get your guys' keys to success, get you a best bet, and then get on our way to Lambeau Field. Jose Benitez says, let's go. How's the weather? The weather is currently 25 degrees right now. The wind is expected to pick up, and there are going to be snow flurries. So probably a lot of running and not an ideal day for special teams, which is not great because you're without your kicker today. Alonzo says, I look cold. It's because I am cold. Anything below 60 is cold for me, Alonzo. So I'm not a happy camper right now, and I will be even less happy by the time I'm out on the field at Lambeau. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. In the meantime, got to talk about this game. Before we get into it, before we get your keys to success and the like, need you guys to share this show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. If you're hanging out on Twitter, please retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Facebook Live, you can share out of public like Justin Tomaselli or Mark Sumter. That's in the bottom left-hand side. Facebook Live, as I mentioned, you can do that. Or YouTube and Twitch, where you can subscribe to the channel, throw a like on the video, and we would greatly appreciate you doing so. And as more of you start to trickle in, we'll go ahead and get this thing up and rolling. Welcome into A to Z Sports Titan Game Day morning, live from Green Bay. I'm Buck Rising, and I'm proud as always to be presented to you by our friends at Two Rivers Ford. That's where you go for 2023 model year Fords, available right now on the dealership in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. Gary Ashton and the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage, the intel edge you need to succeed, can be had at GaryAshton.com. And Superbook Sports, where you can go, still not too late, to wager on all the action for Thursday Night Football and everything else in between. Superbook.com for terms and conditions. Download the app today. So, Titans and the Packers, three keys to success. You guys know the drill. Give me your biggest key for the Titans to be able to have success today in Lambeau. Well, they have not been successful in quite some time. Isaac Mossberg says, wish I had your job, bro. Yeah, a lot of people do. Respectfully, Isaac, I love you. I love each and every one of you, but you can't have it because I like my job. My job's a lot of fun, even if I'm going to be cold and miserable for about an hour and a half longer than an hour and a half at pregame by the time I get out on the field in an hour from now. But even still, you can't have my job. It's my job. Maybe you can have another job, not this job. Let's get into your keys for success. Justin on Facebook Live says, one key is 100-plus yards for El Tractorcito. The interesting element of it is, Derrick Henry getting 100 yards is not akin to them having success, right? Derrick Henry was over 100 yards in Kansas City. They lost the football game. Derrick Henry was under 60 yards against the Broncos last Sunday. They won the game. So I understand why you would be inclined to go in that direction, but 100 yards for Derrick Henry doesn't mean much. It has to be situational. John Moreland agrees, though, with Justin's assessment. Derrick Henry running for 100-plus yards is key for a Titans win. Can't rely on wide receivers having production. There was precious little production. It's just so little production. You can't even rely on them to have that. That's such a low bar. Will Dodson Jr. says, Big Jeff is back. That's much needed. Jose says, run the ball primarily. Yes, we will start with the first key to the Titans having success this evening, right after I remind you that Two Rivers Ford is your place to go for 2023 model year Fords. They're the best in the business. There's no question. They make the car buying experience fast, easy, and fun. So whether you're after a Bronco, an Escape, an Explorer like I drive, so many different options available for you. You can custom order your next Ford at Two Rivers Ford. You can do the whole process online if you like. You can go out to the dealership in Mount Juliet, test drive one for yourself, and experience all that the Two Rivers Ford experience comes with. So custom order your next Ford at Two Rivers Ford. So, a key to success today, the defense getting pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And more importantly, stopping the run. This is one of the best rushing attacks in football, even if their offense hasn't been great. They know how to run the ball. That's the best thing that they do right now in the season. And the Titans obviously have to be prepared for that. I mean, Greg, to see them continue to bother quarterbacks, continue to be able to pressure with 4, even without Jeff last week. Bud Dupree's been in and out of the lineup, but I mean, I don't know if I'm accustomed to seeing it at this point, but even without your best player up there who consistently pushes the pocket that way, I think it's crazy some of the stuff that they're doing with these pieces.
Well, you know, when they go to dime, which is what they essentially do on third down, their pass rush front this past week had Edwards and Weaver outside with Autry inside and predominantly Walker, the other inside rusher in those fronts. But they did some cool stuff on third down. They lined up in a loaded front, which means there's 3 defensive linemen to one side of the center. They walked up Long and the safety Adams opposite the load. So it essentially was a 6-man front. And what that does is, even though they're not going to rush 6, they could rush 5. They could drop out Adams and Long into coverage. They could do any number of things, and they did. They were very multiple with what they did from both a pressure standpoint and a coverage standpoint on third down out of dime from that loaded front where Long and Adams were walked up on the line of scrimmage opposite the load. And it was really kind of fun to watch because it was, you know, they did some cool stuff. And when you have 3 guys who are on one side of the center, more often than not, you get stunt concepts from that. And they're good at that as well. We know when Simmons is there, how good Simmons and Autry are as inside stunt players, whether Simmons is the penetrator and Autry's the looper, or whether Autry's the penetrator and Simmons is the looper. They're really good inside with their stunt concepts.
That's Greg Cosell breaking down the Titans defense and the way that they have done so well, even without the players at their disposal. They've really gone above and beyond to be able to make this thing work. So that the first key to success is obviously the defense being keyed in on the run, make Aaron Rodgers throw, which is something crazy to think about. Now, that can certainly burn you from time to time, but they'll need to suffocate the thing that the Packers do best to kind of force them into their passing game, where we know Rodgers is not necessarily comfortable with his wide receiving core thus far this year. We'll get to your or 2 other keys for success. Clint Lassiter says the Titans will have 4 sacks tonight. Eddie Cardona says, please, no Willis trick plays. Larry McCullen says Rodgers not going to be running. He's going to get sacked. Well, it's not about Aaron Rodgers running, dopey. It's about the horse of a running back that they have in A.J. Dillon, who was a literal snowplow against the Titans defense. The last time this team was up here 2 years ago. He just devastated them on the ground. Aaron Rodgers really didn't have to do much heavy lifting. Get off the field after third down, says Dwight Attaway. That's really not been a problem for them all year long. They're one of the best third down defenses in football. But we'll do 2 other keys to success right after I remind you that the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage is where you go for the dream address without the stress, or the Intel edge you need to succeed and sell your home for more. No matter what your real estate needs are, Gary and his team will go above and beyond to make sure that you can get your dream address or sell your home for more in this red-hot Nashville real estate market. That intel will help you win the buyer battle, help you cash in on your home equity now, and do so much more while everybody else is screwing around looking at the same properties and getting the same information. Not you. You're smart. You're going to go to GaryAshton.com and make sure that you get the intel edge you need to succeed. So, second key to success, offensive line operation. There will be no Ben Jones today. He's officially ruled out. The Titans starting center, it's only the 2nd career game he's missed at any level of football. The last time Ben Jones missed a game was 2019 against the Carolina Panthers on the road, a game that the Titans did lose for a variety of reasons. But they lost in frustrating fashion. If you remember that game, they weren't using Derrick Henry properly. Dion Lewis got the vast majority of touches in the first half. And they lost to Kyle Allen, who I believe is not currently on an NFL roster at this point. So no Ben Jones means that the offensive line operation, likely Corey Levin as the starting center, they're going to have to be clean. They're going to have to be concise. It's going to be a hostile environment. They're going to have to operate on a silent count. Corey's going to have to be ready for that. He's been with this team for quite some time. He's been in a couple other spots too, but has found a role for himself as the backup center since Aaron Brewer has officially been the starting left guard. Then there's the kicking situation. These injuries are going to be critical to try and circumvent, because Josh Lambo is the starting kicker tonight. Randy Bullock is officially out as well with that calf injury. The wind is going to be rocking. If you can score touchdowns instead of kicking field goals, it's going to work to your benefit, because extra points even tonight are going to be very, very difficult to come by. You don't want to leave those points at a premium up to critical chance. So finish drives as opposed to kicking field goals. Then there's players who you thought might be out again, but had a positive development, like Elijah Molden. Without Amani Hooker again tonight, and with another continuous week of shuffling in the secondary, I talked to Elijah Molden in the locker room about his injury that ruled him out with the groin thing that's been keeping him down all season long against the Broncos. But he seemed to feel like he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was more of a scare than anything. Like I felt the pop, and then I woke up the next day and actually felt pretty good. Actually freed up some space for me. Kind of bizarre, but I think it's kind of part of the process of getting back. And yeah, I actually feel pretty good.
How'd you feel when you got back out there? Like things pretty normal as far as like in game,
Yeah, it took a while to kind of get in a rhythm, and I still need a lot of work. I think I was rusty, but definitely something to build on. You know what I mean? I haven't really I've only practiced a handful of times since last year, so I think the more reps I get, the better I'll be.
I mean, that's really the only way it would seem to kind of get back into those things.
Yeah, I mean, you can watch it on TV or on film as much as you want, but it's like there's nothing that replaces game-like reps. I practice, but like nothing replaces in-person reps.
That's Elijah Molden with me in the locker room earlier this week, Tuesday, to be specific. So to have him playing in the lineup, to have him back in the lineup is going to be big. They need to have some kind of continuity in the secondary, because Rodgers is going to look for opportunities to test them. Let's get to a best bet before we wrap things up, and I'll head over to Lambeau Field. The best bet is made possible by Superbook Sports. Superbook Sports is where you go to get in on all the action. They are the best in the business, no question, at superbook.com. They'll match your first bet up to $1,000, win or lose, when you download their clean, easy-to-use app. Superbook Sports is the place that you go for gambling of all kinds on every major sport. You can check their regularly updated odds boosts and promotions, specifically on Tennessee teams. Over-under for this game set at 41, according to Superbook, and I would bet the under. Both of these teams are scoring less than 20 points per game, 18.4 per game for the Titans and 18.5. I think the safest bet in this game is going to be the under 41, which you can get right now at Superbook Sports. All right, it's going to do it for us this afternoon. I am, Ario says, Buck probably freezing in Green Bay. I'm in my hotel room. It's 68 degrees in here, and I've still got a scarf, a jacket, and long sleeves on. So I am not happy about the weather, but I am excited to cover my first game at Green Bay, and I only have to be outside for about an hour and a half, 2 hours before the game. And then I'll be very nice and warm in the press box and hopefully eating cheese curds and watching whatever the Titans do against the Packers. Enjoy the game. By the way, for those of you watching on Amazon Prime tonight, keep an eye out in the pregame. Turn the broadcast on about 7 if you want to see a cameo from your boy. NFL Films came in studio for the radio show and shot a couple of things. So I don't know how long it is. I don't know if they used any of our stuff, but they had me sign a waiver saying they were going to put me on there. So we'll see what that looks like specifically. And honestly, because I'm not going to get to see it, I'm going to be obviously in the press box. So if you guys see it and you take a video and send it to me or tweet it to me or DM it to me, whatever, that'd be really, really cool. And I appreciate it. Otherwise, enjoy the game. And I will talk to you Friday on the radio show, because no prime time tonight after Lambeau. See you guys.